Hi, all. What are the most important verbal mistakes to avoid for an exceptional GMAT verbal score? I'm Julia, and while I'm not the reigning king of all things GMAT, or indeed all things verbal, I did get a perfect score on my GMAT verbal, so rate my advice accordingly, whatever that means to you. Today, I'm going to share 4 common mistakes that I ran into when I was preparing and the fixes for them that worked best for me. The first common mistake is reading through questions too quickly or skimming them. At the beginning, I would read things way too fast, which led to missing keywords that changed the meaning of the questions or the answer choices. I had to learn to slow down and read more for comprehension, especially on critical reasoning questions. Once I forced myself to start reading things more carefully, I made far fewer silly mistakes. Mistakes tend to come in tiers, and if you want to get a good score, you're going to have to eliminate all of the easy ones. This is a good place to start. A second popular mistake is relying on hacks or gimmicks. Luckily, I didn't fall prey to this one too bad because I heard a lot of horror stories that happened when testers employed like half-baked tips and tricks, like trying to pick answers because they have similar words to the passage or similar verbiage or even a similar writing style. This is not a grade school standardized test. This is the GMAT. You are not going to beat it that easily. Read for comprehension. Make sure you understand what's going on. That is a much better investment of your time. There were times when I would read a passage and not understand what it was saying, so I'd go back and read it again until I could develop some understanding. When I started out, this was more common, but with practice, I got better at reading the kind of writing one is likely to run into on the exam. I think many testers get intimidated by the passages early on. They think that they'll never be able to understand them in the time allotted and they'll have to rely on these tricks. That isn't true. Have faith in yourself and keep trying to build that comprehension, which will help out your verbal score instead of spending that time learning these tricks that might be helpful on exam day or might be totally useless. That is not the place to find that out. The third mistake is kind of a twin of the first mistake that's more common in my experience on longer form passages. And it is getting lost in the details. I was guilty of this. I would see a passage and spend a minute plus per paragraph making sure that I could paraphrase it perfectly, making sure I knew all the dates, titles, names, all the specifics. It's thorough, but you will not have time for that on exam day. The solution: read reading comp passages first for basic comprehension, but don't worry about memorizing every little thing. You have access to the passage the whole time you're answering questions about it. So if you need to go back and check a name or a date, it will be there for you. The partner skill of this is to be able to scan quickly for unique words or numbers or proper nouns when you're up against the clock. Read through the passage, take your time, but don't get tripped up too much on the particulars. And then if you get a question about a particular thing, you can go back and read the pertinent bits. The fourth and final mistake I've definitely made is to narrow it down to the last 2 choices and then give up too soon and guess which one is better or go off of vibes. This is usually where an average or good score is separated from a great score. Depending on the level of the problem, 2 or 3 answer choices will be easy to discard. On a difficult problem, there will be at least 2 real contenders for the final best choice, and you need to really buckle down at that point. Expect it to be challenging and expect that you might want to give up so you don't fall victim to those impulses. Keep looking at the final choices until you have a clear, concrete reason to discard one, and then you'll be left with the actual best choice. This is also a common place that I would pick incorrect choices if I'd misread the question stem or rushed past a keyword that changed the meaning of the passage. Don't just read through the choices at the end, but go back and read through the question itself to make sure you're answering the real question that's being asked and not a question that you thought you read when you were in a hurry, but you missed something important. Make sure that you're double checking the final two choices against the actual question. If you're taking your time, reading for comprehension, developing skills instead of relying on gimmicky tricks, and not giving up when the going gets tough, you'll be able to safely navigate through the verbal trap answers that the GMAT sets for you and improve your accuracy. As you improve your accuracy, that winning streak will lead you to harder questions. And the more hard questions you get, the more opportunities to score big points. Best of luck, and I will see you soon.